my urge is that please do that. It really helps. We can only grow if we do it collectively. It's not like it's like a one way thing. So let's collectively build the interest around technical analysis by connecting the right people. We will try and get as many. We have been trying to update ourselves with the latest things and trying to find people who are involved with whatever is happening in the markets lately, and trying to present it. But I would really appreciate if you can do that. So that was one thing. Second thing is that any feedback that you have about anything, so like for example, he has some feedback about videos not working or audio is not visible, or say for example today I'm sure many of you would be pissed off with the timing confusion. So if any feedback that you have, I please request you to send it to me directly. You can take down my email address. It's gaurav.mtlc@gmail.com. And I'll personally look into it that something is done about it. And many times what happens is you tell me verbally, I kind of I'm not able to follow up or things like that. So if you send me an email, I think that will be easier for me to follow up and get it closed. So please do that. At the end of the seminar also, I will probably interact, and if you want, you can take down my email per se. So now coming to the day's agenda. So we have Mr. Rajendran with us. Of course, he doesn't require any introductions. Most of us know him. He is basically the founder of Market Calls. If you don't know about Market Calls, please go and visit this portal. Amazing portal with amazing information. He claims to have more than about million views, 1.5 million views, every month. So it's really popular, and I'm sure that you will get a lot of information from there. He also, instructs users all over the world, from experienced traders, professional traders to individual traders. So he has interacted with different levels of traders, and he kind of is a prominent trainer in that area. He's attended his college in Chennai, where he earned his BE. He's an engineer in electronics and communication. He has a broad understanding of trading softwares like AmiBroker, NinjaTrader, eSignal, Metastock, Motivave, Market Analyst. Oh my God! I mean, the list goes on. MetaTrader, TradingView, Python. Whenever his name comes to my mind, I tell people that he is good at technical analysis, but he's also good technically. So he understands software, and he can do a lot of wonders with softwares and technical analysis combined. So I will not take any more time here, and I'll probably call him. Please, take over the stage and give us some insights. Thank you.
I'll be standing and taking the session from here, right? And so in today's session, we'll be talking about market profile 101 basics. So before getting to the session, just want to know how many are very new to the concept market profile. Okay, so many new hands. Okay, so what we are going to focus is here in today's agenda, we'll be going to talk about what market profile is, right? How it is different from the other technical analysis studies, and why one should try to focus on it, and what are the advantages of doing it, right? So we'll be focusing on who is in control. We'll be focusing on the top-down approach. We'll be talking about concepts like excess and balance. A lot of terminologies are involved, but we'll be talking about the major concepts, which gives you the path to understand the complexity of the markets, right? And we'll also going to talk about the market internals, right? Market internals, like some of the participation-wise open internals, how to interpret it so that you can take advantage out of it. Now about me, I'm a full-time trader, and I'm the founder of Market Calls. I'm running Market Calls since 2007, and I am into full-time career. I'm full-time into trading right from 2014 onwards. Previously, I used to work with companies like Nokia Siemens Networks, Ericsson. So these are basically telecom companies. So I'm a telecom engineer, so I used to work with 2G, 3G, 4G networks, right? So, and I'm a system trader basically. I shifted my trading career to system trading. I'm more of an kind of a mathematical kind of guy. So I use mathematics to create my own trading logic, and I used to trade those logics. Back then, I seen that a lot of, even though the logic is good, at times you cannot handle those logic emotionally good, because there are periods you may not make money for 3 months, you may not make money for 6 months, right? So that then comes the then comes the feeling like, where is my absolute returns? Absolute returns in the sense, like many people used to talk, right? I want to make 2% in a month, 3% in a month. So is there a way where we can avoid those drawdown periods? We call this a drawdown periods, where the losses can be extended, and that those losses may not recover for a couple of periods, right? There are at times, even with big institutions, the drawdown we go for 6 months, 1 year or 2 years. We don't know when the recovery is going to happen. So that's what makes me to explore, is there any other way we can understand the markets better? So what my feeling is, if you understand the markets in a better way, right, we may play a game, we can strategize our game in a different way, rather than just playing the old rules like a video game. You can strategize your game in a better way, and then that is where the real edge comes, right? So again, the learning process shifted to market profile. I find this study is quite interesting because it is not easy to understand. The first thing is, it's not easy to understand, and it requires a lot of efforts. It cannot be just taught in 3 hours of seminars or webinars. It requires constant screening time, right? So you have to be in the screen, you have to watch the market movements, and then comes the learnings, right? Let me say this thing. If trading is so easy, everyone will be making money over here, right? Am I right or wrong? Yes, if trading is so easy, let's say it can be done in some 3, 4, 5 rules, so that you can be millionaire overnight. Next day, everyone will replicate it. Everyone will be going to replicate it, and everyone will be a millionaire. But that doesn't happen, right? That doesn't happen. What's happening here is, markets are so complex, but what we are trying to do is, we are trying to play with the rules which we know, or we are trying to frame the rules based upon what we are seeing in the markets, right? So let's take a hypothetical examples. Let's say, I guess everyone understands this game, cricket, right? I will put an thought experiment basically. Let's say you are going to bowl to the player, but you don't know who the player is. But you don't know whether who is an international player or a Ranji Trophy player, or he is some other street cricket player. You don't know. You don't know his strength. You don't know his weakness. But what if I say, if you are going to make him out and you are going to send it back to the pavilion, you will be rewarded 1 lakh rupees, and you will be given 5 overs. Within 5 overs, you have to make him out. But if you are not, you are going to take 1 lakh from your pocket, right? You don't know what is the strength of this player. You don't know how to set the field settings, because you don't know how. You don't know whether you are bowling to Virat Kohli or Sachin Tendulkar or some other players. When you are in such a situation, what one can do, right? Most of us, we are doing the same thing. We don't know whom we are trying to compete with. Just like that, we are just seeing the terminal, we are just seeing the price information or some price-based indicators, trend lines, or parallel channels, or what else. Every trader uses the same stuff again and again and again and again. And we don't care about our competition, right? But trading is like any other sport. You take any other sport, like Pete Sampras. Let's say Pete Sampras is playing with some other player, or Virat Kohli, or the player like whom you can name any popular player basically, right? So what their major skill is understanding the game so that they can dynamically change the game the way they want. Maybe it sounds not relevant to trading, but I'll tell you one thing. It's strongly connected. Like sports, like any other field, trading requires a constant knowledge about your competition. If you don't know about your competition, you will be slowly, steadily out of the game at some point of time. So, let's see. I mean, this is one of the examples spotted by Jim Dalton. So, Jim Dalton is considered as one of the father of market profile, right? The competition, in the sense, every people wants someone else's money, right? Here. So, big players are here, small players are here, positional traders are here, intraday players are here, and even scalpers, HFT players are there. There are a lot of variants of traders. A lot of people use technology, some people use only Excel sheets, and some people don't even Excel sheets. Like even the big giant like Warren Buffett, I don't think like he will use Excel sheets for his trading, investing decisions or anything else. Every people, they have their own set of game. But what if we understand these kinds of traders' behavior? What if I'm able to spot out and when the strong player is coming into the markets, when the weak player is going to come into the markets, how the weak money is going to behave. If I understand how the weak money is going to behave, what you will do, like let's say that the weak money is trying to play in the markets, you will generally tend to trade against these guys, right? Anyways, they are not going to make money in the markets. Most of the weaker hands, most of the players, at least from the trading point, 95% of the traders are not going to make money over the next 3 years, and 75%, there is something called shelf life of a trader. An average shelf life of a trader, this is the data collected from by most of the brokers. And I'm also sitting at the broker side, so I know the game. The shelf life of an average trader is just 3 to 6 months. A new trader, he comes with a fresh set of money, he burns the money, and then he go back again, he'll come back again with a fresh set of money, and he do this over and over and over and over and again, right? But this percentage is probably some 75%, 60 to 75%. There are other categories, other set of people, they do survive in the markets, but maybe their survival will go till some 2 to 3, 4, 5 years. The one who is actually making money in the long run, probably it narrows down to 1% or 2%. Right? And so let me give you this example which is given by Jim Dalton. Right? So what attended Traders Carnival last year, 2000, this May. Right? So he started with this example. Let's say market is opening gap down. Who do you think will want to enter at the very first moment? Do you think an institutional trader will enter, or a retail trader will enter into the markets? Come again? What? Amateurs. Okay. Yeah. See, most of the time, market is going to open a big gap down, right? Or some event has been occurred, like events like BR exit or some other events. There are people, they cannot control their nerves. Like, oh my God, the market is going to open gap down. They want to step out at the very first moment, and then they feel like, oh, if I'm going to miss this, I'm going to miss some good opportunity in the markets. They cannot control their feelings. Even most of us cannot control the feelings. Most of the day time frame traders, means the intraday traders, are going to step up in the first 1 hour. They are very much going to be active in the first 1 hour because they cannot control their feelings. And even most of us, it's not an easy game to control because it will be very tempting to take a trade. It will be very tempting to take a trade when market is going to move down with 80 points or 70 points or 60 points, and the sentiment is going to be really, really bad. Right? When that time, every trader is going to crowd it over there. And you may see sometimes that market is going to be, after the big gap downs, market will be keep on moving in a sideways action, right? So you see this game, it's doing the same thing. Market opens with some 30-40 points gap down on that day, and it started wavering around for some time. You can see here the open price. The open price is continuously whipsawed. I mean, whipsawed in the sense it comes to the open price, again some sell-off happens. It comes to the opening price, again sell-off happens. It comes to the opening price, again sell-off happens. Who do you think is trying to invest markets again? Who is still trading these markets? Who trade this kind of scenarios? It could be some intraday players again. If it is a long-term player, the movement will be very erratic, because when they come and they buy, they do the volume. Right? When you are seeing this sort of low volume events, market is moving dull after a big gap down, even though the sentiment is very negative, all the TV channels are talking negative. What happens is it invites every weaker hands in the markets. This is just one example, right? But later what happens, you might see most of the times, all of a sudden the market jerks down, right? This is where, oh my god, this is where most of the people will step in. They'll be thinking like, oh my god, the market is going to fall down, anyways the news is negative, right? This is where most of the emotional players, emotional short sellers enter into the markets. Now think about it, everyone are either emotional sellers or intraday time frame players. So where likely their stop loss could be? Everyone's stop loss. Everyone's stop loss, where everyone's stop loss. See, let's say I'm a Nifty trader or a Bank Nifty trader. If I'm a Nifty trader, Nifty intraday trader, I'm going to trade Nifty intraday, right? I don't want to place a stop loss more than 30, 40, 50 points. Am I right or wrong? If I'm going to do that, then I don't think like I'm not a very good intraday trader, right? So because most of the retail traders, again, they are very much highly leveraged. Leveraged in the sense, let's say I'm going to have 1 lakh of money. I want to make faster money here. So my mind will think about always making 10% returns, 20% returns, 30% returns in a month, right? And that makes me to take enormous risk in the markets, because market is throwing wonderful opportunity. I know the market is going to go down because all the sentiments are negative. Anyway, demonetization is there, government's plans are going bullshit, and then no ATMs are functioning, nothing is going to happen. So everything sits in your mind, and you try to see only what you want to see from your charts. No matter what kind of technology you're using, no matter what kind of software you're going to use, your mind will not allow you to see what you don't want to see. That's called cognitive dissonance, right? I mean, it's most of the traders suffer from it. So now you can see here, after the participating, say like the wavering behavior, right? The wavering behavior says like the intraday players are in control in the markets, most likely intraday sellers. And again, a knee-jerk reaction. This is why you all get active, because every weaker hand stop loss is somewhere above. Maybe I can go down here. Somewhere above this low. So all of a sudden you can see that most of the time it snaps back intraday, and it removes everyone's stop loss. This is where many people think like, oh my god, who is hunting my stop loss? Who is hunting my stop loss? It is called stop loss hunting. It occurs very frequently in the markets. If you are not aware about this behavior, right? If you understand this kind of behavior is going on, at least you will not go short in the markets. If you understand that you are competing with the intraday players,